Hello everybody, it's Chrissy from Chrissy's Beautiful Life. Welcome to Off the Board. It is Thursday and instead of a process video, I have a layout share for you because I really wanted to play one day. I was not exactly in the mood to film and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And so I did a few different things. I started off simply by doing this really fun mixed media background, and hopefully it'll pop up for you to see without the flowers might be on there, but everything else won't be on there. And so all I simply did is I did a layer of gesso, and I started with using the Caribbean Sunset, some of my cotton candy, which is that really light pink one, and then I added a tiny bit of this sunset strip. And I was liking it. It was pretty subtle at the time because I was only trying to have a little bit of mixed media where the flowers were gonna go. I then went ahead and grabbed this stencil that I have. I love this stencil. It's a star one. I use it a lot, and I used a little bit of my little paste that I have. Let me see if I can grab it without shaking. Whoopsies, probably not. Sorry guys. So it's this Vicki Boutin one. It's rose gold. And I really like the stuff. I think I have 2 bottles of it. I might have gone through half of the other bottle already, or I've misplaced it because I can't find it. So I had to open this one up. But I placed it, and I just simply on all 4 squares and did that. This part was a little bit more, this is like the, what am I trying to say? The second generation of it. It was really cool because I had stenciled all these and they were darker. And then I placed this one down and I just had a tiny bit left on my palette knife. And so I was spreading it and it almost made like the outline of the stars instead of the inside. And I loved that. So keeping that in mind, I wanted to keep that a little bit more open so you could see it. Let that dry, and then I think I probably went off and did something else or cleaned or whatever. And the next, maybe later that day, I'm not sure. But I did another coat of gesso, which ended up, I don't think that this was completely dried because it ended up smearing some of it. But I was okay with that. I kind of liked it. It made kind of a cool look to it. Then I let that dry overnight because I was like, there's a lot of mixed media. I had used a lot of water on it. It was quite heavy. This is quite wrinkly actually. If I flipped it over, you can see how wrinkled it is. Went ahead and did that, and then I went back through, and this time I did the same colors, but I added in some pink Moscato for a little bit more coloring to it. And I loved it. I had so much fun, loved how it turned out. Fussy cut the flowers, arranged them how I wanted them to. No plans on my photos whatsoever. That was just kind of where it all went. And I sat on that for a little while. I was fine with it, and I wasn't sure where I was going to go with it. I had a couple days where I wasn't completely in a scrappy mood, so I just, when that happens, it's fine. I do other things, like I did photo editing instead. And I was standing at my desk looking, and I have this cool little bin that holds all my wood veneer, and I pulled out all my flower wood veneer because I'm like, I have so much of this, I really should use some of them. And all except for this one, I used them. And then I had learned a technique from Christina during Layout Palooza about tucking in a like a cut file. And so I kind of took that same idea and tucked a whole bunch of wood veneer under where the mixed media is appearing, where the flowers didn't overlay there. Love that. Placed a few on top of them to cover the flowers. Really love that. But they are white. I mean, the wood is a little bit lighter, and I like this a lot of times, but for this layout, it wasn't really working for me. So I just simply took this cool little paint dauber that's gold metallic and just ran it over all of the wood veneer. Loved. Let that sit there, and the way it had started, I really found, and I was messaging some of my friends, and I'm like, I made like a Sarah Scraps inspired layout. And that's where I was gonna go. I was thinking I'd find a really pretty and florally photo and go with it and just make something really fun. And then I found this photo. This was the last trip to the park before coronavirus. And this was kind of, I struggle with scrapping coronavirus, right? Because like our adventure to it, because obviously it's not the easiest. Everyone has their own struggles with how it went, but the colors really matched. In my kids, Nora's wearing a pink jacket, Barrett's wearing some orange. I've got some that's on in my shoes, which I'll explain in a minute, and Jackson's the one that's a little off with the blue, but I thought I could just kind of ignore it because there is red in his sweater. So I go ahead and I use that. I found a bunch of just things that I could work with in my stash, and I happen to have these. Now I am almost out of these. I can hardly spell anything, especially in the fact that I struggle with these multiple color ones. I really struggle with, but I had enough in the right color tones, with the exception of the S that I had to fix, to spell out the whole word coronavirus. So I went with it. And then from there, I used some leftover washi tape strips that I'm using on another layout. And I just kind of went a little crazy, and crazy in a good way because I love it. But in the end, I messaged back my friends and I was like, so I think this is my Sarah Scraps inspired layout turned into Scrappy Kathy, because that lady can make the most amazing layouts with so much stuff on it and not make it look crazy, like busy, like it looks like it's supposed to be there. I don't know how she does that, but it's amazing, and I love that talent. And so I don't know, I just kept adding. I've got Spiegel Mom Scraps sequence on here. I've got a chipboard that's been on forever. I had the little gold hearts and just lots and lots of stuff. I added a rainbow to represent, you know, the hope for coronavirus. This old endings, new beginnings, because this was our last trip. And then I did want to highlight, because it's kind of hard to tell that Sean and I are in the photo, so I highlighted our shoes, and my journaling will eventually go here to kind of document everything. And then I just used a few little things, like I have this today here, I have this wild, and I used a tiny little photo corner. And you can hardly see it. I got these two little flowers used up too, which is awesome because I didn't know where else to use them. And I'm really happy with it. And for what it is documenting, I feel like it fits it perfectly. So it's not exactly necessarily off the board pin inspired. There's not a specific pin. I did kind of go on to Sarah Scraps Instagram, found something I could pin to show kind of the color inspiration, because she does use those colors a lot. So the color inspiration is kind of from her, but mostly I just wanted to get up these florals used up. Of course, this was what I was trying to use up in June, and then I just played using a little bit of different colors for myself. Also kind of a challenge from the scrap party a couple weekends ago, where we were supposed to do almost the opposite of our style. So if we're a little bit more simplistic in our style, which I think I would say I am, like I do a lot, but it's still normally a more simplistic look to it versus wild and crazy busy like this. And so I kind of filled that challenge as well, and I'm just super happy with it. Love the layout, love the photo. Again, this is gonna be, I won't be able to just sit down and scrap our spring and lockdown and everything. There's too much emotion. It's too raw, right? So having a layout here every once in a while, I had one, I scrapped I think a month ago or so, which was like the opening layout for it. And this one will go kind of either behind it or side by side, depending on if they match enough in my album. So there you have it, guys. That is my layout for today on Off the Board. Please make sure you go on over, check out everyone else's amazing layouts. They have been phenomenal this month. I have so been enjoying this. July is my birthday month, so anything like hops and stuff like that, I love it because it just makes the month that much better. And having this off the board in July definitely makes July amazing. All right, everyone, I will see you all soon. Bye.